Here and Now, the program featuring the news and interests of the African American community. Here's your host, Sandra Bookman.
Coming up, making strides against breast cancer. Tina Knowles opens up about her struggle with the disease in hopes of inspiring others. Also ahead, the affordable housing program in Harlem creating solutions for those in need. The founder of Sleepwise Health on why getting those Z's are so important to your overall health. Tag Swag, a new novelty store in Harlem that's empowering young people, and how the New York City Public School Arts Hub is enhancing the lives of students. That's all ahead on Here and Now. As we mark the end of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we are hearing from the mother of superstar Beyonce. Tina Knowles opened up about her own breast cancer journey. Knowles sat down recently with Eyewitness News anchor Sade Badavinois to talk more about her mission to inspire others.
Tina, I'm so glad we get to talk about your book. But I think one thing that will surprise a lot of people is the revelation towards the end of the book where you reveal you were diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yes, I was. In 2020, I was supposed to go and get a mammogram, and of course, COVID came, and they stopped doing mammograms. So they told me they would call me when they started doing it again. So in my brain, I thought I had it that year. I didn't. And so in 2024, I went in to have one, and I found out that I had breast cancer. And when you hear cancer, you hear a death sentence. And then, everything comes later but that first, the words just tear you down, and it really devastated me. And I'm a tough cookie, but I went and had myself a good cry, and then I called back and I started asking the questions. What they told me, it was a very slow growing breast cancer, but it just struck me that one decision of me, not a conscious decision, but a mistake on my part of not going to get my mammogram, I could have gone and it could have been stage 3. And this happens to women all the time because we kind of put ourselves last and, you're running around. So I thought, I need to put this in a book and talk about that journey.
And there comes a moment you have to let the girls know.
Oh, that was hard because, you want to protect, as a mother, you want to protect their feelings. And I knew that they would be, I thought that they would take it worse than they took it. But, I called the same day I called Beyonce because I found out in the evening and told her, and she was like, "Mom, we're going to take care of this." She just became this little warrior figuring it out. And I called Kelly and we said a prayer. And then the next morning, I waited till the next morning to call Solange because she lives in New York and it was much later. And she was just so strong and so positive. And, that's when she was like, "Yeah, and you can get your boobs done and you can have these."
You're like, that's another side to this.
Yeah. So that was she was like, "That's your silver lining. I've been trying to find a silver lining. That's your silver lining."
One thing I remember hearing in the book constantly, and certainly your daughters opening up, talking about how you are the center of their world and how they rely on you. Who did you rely on when you were going through one of your toughest moments?
Them, of course. I didn't tell many people. I told a couple of my closest friends, my sister and them. And so they just rallied around me. And they were my support system. They made me laugh. They were like, this is early stages. You're going to get through this and it's going to be fun. And, just surrounded by love. Solange will call me every single morning, first thing in the morning. And Solange is not that kid that you talk to every day. Like it might take me 2 days to get Solange or 3 days because she's so busy with doing things and she likes her space. And to have her calling me, but there were many mornings that I woke up and I was just kind of laying there saying, "This is unbelievable." And she would call and make me laugh and just be so positive, and it made a huge difference. It really did.
And what did Beyonce do?
Well, Beyonce is always take charge, like, let me figure it out, sending me articles and it's funny, they all have their thing because she's about figuring everything out and oh, listen, I saw this on this show, or I looked at this on the computer, you need to listen to this. You know, you got to be real positive because the positive vibes are going to keep you up and they're going to make you stronger. And, you know, what are you eating? And Kelly, again, is the health nut. So she was always like, Mom, you got to stop the coffee. You got to stop, you know,
Take your green juice.
you got to take your green juice. I'm going to the farmer's market. And then Angie just had me laughing all the time because she would send me the most ridiculous little crazy things from Instagram. And so they all played a different role in what they gave to me all the time.
How did it change you?
Well, it just made me more appreciative of all the things that I've done and gotten to do in my life. Like, I have had an amazing life. You know, you read the book. I've been all over the world. I met kings, and I mean, I've had this amazing life. And so it just made me appreciate it more, and also to appreciate myself. And
Which, as women, we don't always do
you
enough.
don't. And, you know, I had just done this book. And so I was all fired up about my life because a lot of times I just took it for granted and I didn't really self-talk to myself and say, you know, you're a badass and you've accomplished a lot of things. So I had just done the book. So it was perfect timing for me to go through this. And it just made me feel even more certain that I didn't have to always play myself down. I don't do that anymore.
So what's your message to all of the young women who are out there?
To take the time to take care of yourself, to go and get your you know, do your self breast examinations. And when you are feeling something, because I felt a lot of itching in my breast, but you know, I was like, oh, well, it's probably just, you know,
Nothing. You'll be an allergic reaction or something.
whatever. And so just pay attention to your body. And, you know, it can mean saving your life. This is your life you're talking about.
So, Tina, thank you so much.
Thank
And I'm
you.
so glad that you're healthy, you're well. And as always, she's looking fierce.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you, Tina.
All right.
Sandra Bookman and Here and Now will be right back.
6 out of every 10 adults don't get enough sleep. That's according to the National Sleep Foundation. Our next guest specializes in sleep health with a focus on Black culture. Her Sister Slumber Black Beauty Rest tips focus on stress and hormonal health issues. With us today is certified pediatric and adult sleep consultant and the founder of SleepWise Health, Irene Smalls. You are going to be the most popular guest in the building today.
Well, I will be delighted about that, most definitely.
What is it? Why do so many of us have issues with sleeping? I'm one of them.
Well, one of the things that happens is that most people think, oh, sleep isn't important. There are 4 pillars of life: air, food, water, and sleep. And sleep supports all the other 3 pillars. And most people feel that they can, you know, get a little less sleep, I'll stay up, I'll work a little harder, etc. Sleep is not idle, it's vital. It's absolutely vital. The average adult needs 7 to 9 hours, and that's consistently. And the importance of sleep is that you do it regularly, you have a bedtime schedule, you have a sleep hygiene schedule, and also you know your sleep number. Each of us is different. And so some people need 7 hours of sleep, and their body is fully restored. Some people need 8 hours of sleep and their body is fully restored. Some people need 9 hours. And so the important thing is to know how much sleep your body needs each night so that you can get the maximum physical and mental restoration from sleep.
Now I'm listening to you like I am just the best student that I know right now. I'm going to go, okay, if I get 3 hours, I'll be good tomorrow. I know that's horrible, but I know I'm not the only person that kind of thinks like that. You know, you think, okay, tonight I'm only going to be able to get 3 or 4 because I got to get this finished and I got to get up early and I got to be there. But you can't make it up later?
No, you can't. Because what you have to recognize is that there are 5 stages to sleep. And in stage 4 and 5 is when 3 and 4 is when the body gets restored, which that means that if you've, exercise, that muscle tissue is rebuilt. That if you've used hormones in your body during the day, that gets rebuilt, restored. And also during stage 5, the brain functions as high a level as if you were awake. I mean, that's how intense the activity is while you're sleeping for your brain, because the brain is a closed system. So at night, it cleans itself. At night, it restores the neural pathways, and it makes new neural connections. Like, a lot of people think that you learn during the day. You don't. You learn while you sleep. When you get information in during the day, it goes into short-term memory, and short-term memory is limited and it fades. At night, during stage 5 of sleep, your brain takes that information and puts it in other parts of the brain. So that's long-term memory, puts it into long-term memory, and that's really where you learn.
Do you think that's why some, people will start saying, and I'm one of them, unfortunately, what is going on? Why can I remember this? I knew, because I never really got to stage 5 when I was sleeping, so I could store all that info.
Right, most definitely. What the research has shown is that, particularly among Black women, there are high levels of sleep deprivation among Black women because we're caregivers, we're, the strong Black woman syndrome and all of these other things, but that the sleep cycles is they would go through 1, 2, 3, a little bit of 4, and then 1, 2, 3, and they weren't getting to the 4 and 5, that deep restoration that your body absolutely needs, that they're looking at the high skyrocketing rates of Alzheimer's and dementia, and they're saying it's linked to sleep deprivation because the brain cleans itself at night. And if you need 7 hours to clean and you give it 3, oh my goodness, something's left over.
There's a lot left over, unfortunately, and too many of us, apparently. So how do you figure out what your particular sleep cycle is and start the process of trying to get to that?
Again, I would say that there's no perfect night of sleep, that we all have lots of responsibilities, lots of things going on, but you have a target. And so the way to know what your sleep number is have a weekend where you don't set an alarm, you just go to bed when you're tired, you wake up when you feel rested, and usually that gives you an indication of what your body needs. That we have a clock in the body, and it's called the circadian rhythm, suprachiasmatic nucleus. And the entire human body is timed. I mean, the liver has a clock, the heart has a clock, the lungs have a clock, the kidneys have a clock, the pancreas, everything's timed based on that major body clock in the brain. And what happens is that if that body clock is offset, you're not getting the sufficient amount of sunlight. And again, everybody should get 15 to 20 minutes of natural sunlight on bare skin because that sets your body's clock. And all of the other clocks, the kidneys, the liver, the heart, the pancreas, everything is based off that clock. So that means if that clock is in sync, then everything else is in sync. But if that clock is not in sync, then, all the others start to go. And that's what shows up as illness.
Yeah.
That's what shows up as disease, And what you were saying was how to know your number. Again, you find out when you naturally want to go to sleep, when you naturally wake up. You don't want an alarm. You want your body to say, I'm finished, I'm refreshed, let's go, and then that's your number. But there are larks and there are owls. So there's some people who are naturally going to wake up early, and there's some people who are naturally going to go later. But again, know your body, because again, the body is 300,000 years old. It hasn't changed in that length of time. And our bodies were evolved to be in tune with nature, the sun and the moon. And so we have not changed. Technology is here, but it hasn't changed our bodies.
Here we are. So let's do this. I want you to share your sleep guide with us because I know there are some steps. So let's walk through those steps.
I guess the most important thing is that a good night's sleep starts with your day. And so you want to start your day with some natural sunlight. On the bare skin, number one, you're getting vitamin D, which is very important, which your body can naturally produce. And also, you're setting your clock. And so you go through your day, and the one thing you wouldn't be concerned about is don't take too many naps. Naps are wonderful, but naps are about 20, 30 minutes, and the average sleep cycle is 90 minutes. And so by taking a nap, you'll get restored, you'll feel refreshed, but you're not going to get a full, restful sleep. So as I said, you get up in the morning, hopefully you're waking up at your peak time, and then you get the sunlight. You take a walk, get your body moving, etc. Get all the fluids, going in your body, and then you start on your day. And the idea is that in the course of the day, you begin to think about that night. You don't want to have, a heavy meal late at night. You don't want to have naps other than early afternoon. That you want to make sure that you limit alcohol and you limit caffeine. I mean, a lot of people drink coffee, but coffee can have a life in the body of about 8 to 12 hours. And so if you have your last cup of coffee around noon, by 8 o'clock, it's pretty much gone through your system. But if you're having it at 6 or 7, then that caffeine is going to keep you awake. And you're not going to be able to sleep.
Which makes sense.
And so with sleep, you need a hygiene, a plan, so you start with, I call it the 4 B's, bath, breath work, meditation, a book, journaling, prayer, and then you go to bed. And the bed should be used for 2 things, sex and sleep. You don't want to be studying in the bed. You don't want to be eating in the bed. You want to train your body to say, oh, there's the bed. It's time to sleep. So there's no distraction. And you get that maximum physical rejuvenation.
What I love about your guys is that you have specifically thought about seniors. There are different things they need to do in terms of getting to sleep. Also, children, trying to get your children to bed, to sleep, to get them on a consistent schedule. I'm assuming that is, my mother's was getting to bed. And basically, I got in the bed.
I know.
I don't remember going to sleep, but I did what she told me to do.
Right.
But it's not that easy.
No, it's not. And academic achievement is really linked to sleep. Because, again, how you learn. That students who get the proper amount of sleep perform better academically. They're also healthier. And the idea is that particularly when you have young bodies that are still growing and, doing so many things in terms of their reaching their adult levels, that sleep is restorative, it's rejuvenation, and it gives them that growth time to be, their physical best.
And when we sat down, you were intent. You said you wanted to make it known that sleep deprivation is a national public health emergency.
The Centers for Disease Control has confirmed that 70 million Americans are suffering from sleep deprivation. $411 billion was lost to the U.S. economy because of sleep deprivation. Accidents, mistakes, people not being able to make it to work because of illness.
So where did we get this in our culture? Because I think I'm guilty of it. I've always been proud of the fact that, at least I think I could function okay on 3 or 4 hours of sleep. Who knows? That I don't need that much sleep. I can do. But there is this pride in that. Where did that come from, considering how important you and other health experts say sleep really is to the body?
Well, unfortunately, the society wants to get the maximum productivity from workers. And so they've developed this ethos of, you don't need sleep, work harder, work longer, et cetera, because they get more productivity out of you. But
theoretically,
you pay the price. You pay the price physically. That you can add 5 years to your life by getting the proper amount of sleep each night. But I know personally, I want my 5 years. I don't want to give it up.
That's true. So I'm going to ask you before I let you go, before I send folks to your website, what is the one thing that all of us, simple thing that we could maybe do this evening to try to start that process of figuring out what our sleep cycle is and actually getting enough sleep? Something simple, because if it's too complicated.
What I would say is electronics. That a lot of people spend, the last thing their eyes see before they hit the pillow is the cell phones with the scrolling. And what the research shows is blue light diminishes the production of melatonin. And melatonin is a natural hormone that your body produces to put you to sleep. And so I would say is limit the screen time or eliminate. You don't want electronics in your bedroom. You want to have a dark, cool, quiet space. Ears never sleep. And so if you have music in the background, if you have the TV on, your brain is monitoring that, saying, okay, is this a threat? Do I need to take care of it? Is there anything I need to do? I would say make your bedroom a sanctuary, a spa, simplistic and peaceful. So when you walk into that bedroom, it's like, oh, time for sleep.
Or something else.
Or something else, most definitely.
All right. I love you, Irene. sleepwisehealth.com. That's your website,
Yes,
right?
it is. Yes,
and
it
we
is.
can find information about these tips. And if you've got a particular area of concern, if you're trying to get your kids to sleep, you've got information about that on
We
your
have
website.
actually a website called Night Baby Night.
Night Baby Night.
Baby Night, and it focuses specifically on young children. And when babies are born, they don't have a circadian rhythm, they don't produce their own melatonin, and so sleep is, shall we say, a delicate dance, for new moms. And so we have like a bedtime book. We talk about, at 3 to 4 months you can start sleep training, and if you sleep train your child, you're really giving them a gift of 5 years of life.
Yeah, and probably giving yourself a few more hours of sleep a night.
Most definitely. And it's so important, in terms of how society demands so much of us each day, that we are at our peak efficiency and that we can be most effective and be happy. Sleep affects your mood, your emotions. And so, happy day. Get some sleep.
Yeah, that's the best advice I probably will get today. Irene Smalls, thank you so much
Thank
for
you for having me.
sharing with us and reminding us of how important sleep is. The website sleepwisehealth.com, and what was the other one?
Night Baby Night.
Night Baby Night.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back. Almost 3 million New Yorkers are spending more than 30% of their income on housing. That, according to a New York State Comptroller report, evidence that the state has one of the highest housing burdens in the nation. Since its inception, the Harlem Congregations for Community Improvement has worked to lessen that burden for many, producing nearly 3,000 affordable housing units. Here to tell us more is HCCI President and CEO Dr. Malcolm A. Punter, along with board member Reverend Dr. Keith Roberson. Thank you guys for joining us today. Welcome back to you.
Thank you for having us.
You are still doing important and good work.
Yes.
So explain to folks what HCCI is.
So HCCI is Harlem Congregations for Community Improvement. We are a coalition of houses of worship that created our organization as a 501c3 in 1986.
Go ahead.
The founders thought that Harlem needed to be revitalized. And they knew that the houses of worship, the churches, the mosques and synagogues, and like-minded individuals could do it only if they came together as a coalition.
So there's power in numbers.
Yes.
And, I asked you this question before the camera started rolling because affordable housing we are in a housing crisis. And it's not just in New York City, but it's nationwide. It just happens to be so acute here when you consider the cost of living, the size of the city, the number of people, all those things. So how is it that you guys are able to do this important work and really have some incredible success at it? In a way, so many others are failing to do. Not to point fingers, but it's true.
It's really not easy. However, it's doable. It's doable when HCCI and its houses of worship partners with public and private entities to create affordable housing in New York City and other places, in New York City and beyond. So the definition of affordable, which is being debated now in the public square, has changed over time. In the early 1980s, we really considered affordable as 60% of the area median income as a ceiling for income to define affordability. Now, arguably, with the increases of income in our communities, overall, that statistic may not be as valid as it was 40 years ago. So the discussion is happening. And I know firsthand, being in rooms with elected officials, community members and stakeholders, community boards, that there's an intentional discussion about how to define affordability. So while that discussion is taking place, HCCI's responsibility is to continue to produce affordable housing as it is currently defined so that our community members can remain in Harlem, the Bronx, and other areas of New York City, the city that they love.
Can you, I want to bring you into the conversation, Reverend Roberson. How important are the church's involvement in this program? How important are the churches to making this as successful as it has been?
Good question. I think that you probably have heard the phrase, many hands make light work. It takes all of us, and the reality is that regardless of one's faith, I think that we all have the same essential needs.
Yeah.
On our board, we have Muslims, we have Catholics, we have Baptists, we have men, we have women, we have entrepreneurs, we have people of pretty much all walks of life. The reality is we take a look at what we have in common as opposed to what makes us different. And the more houses of worship that we have on board supporting HCCI, the more, I'll put it like this, that what one house of worship can't do, if they come together with us, then we can all do. We have approximately 100 houses of worship listed as being members of HCCI, my church being one of them, of course. But again, HCCI's services trickle down into the house of worship. So it's not just HCCI taking from those houses, we're giving back to those houses of worship, i.e. the people that make up the house of worship benefit from us.
So talk to me a little bit about your affordable housing list, because I know you've got quite a few projects in development as well.
That's correct. So if one were to ask me how much affordable housing have we produced over 40 years, I would say that 85% of our affordable housing has been for low and very low income families, which means that the families are required to pay 30 or 25% of their annual income towards rent for housing. And then 15% of our housing has been a combination of home ownership opportunities with limited equity cooperatives.
Okay.
And what that means is that a person who wants to transition from a lifelong history of rentership now becomes a first-time home buyer in a cooperative model, which is usually the most affordable type of apartment you can buy in New York City. And then we do a small amount of larger scale economic development projects because that is part of the mission statement of HCCI, the holistic revitalization of the Harlem community. So we have been involved in projects like the hotel project on 125th Street, along specifically for the purpose of the affordable housing component that is adjacent to the hotel. And so 85-15 is really the model that we've developed over time, and that is because of the founding mission that our founders created with HCCI.
And so somebody listening to this program, listening to this interview, and they said, wow, that's interesting. I would really like to find out more about maybe getting on that housing list or being able to be take advantage of this.
Absolutely.
What do they need to do?
So you can certainly go to our website and start from there. Our website is www.hcci.org. And on our website, there are various tabs that discuss and illustrate the various programs that we have. One of those tabs is the affordable housing or rental housing. And the type of housing we have, again, is family housing. We also have housing for individuals. But one of our signature housing programs is the housing for senior citizens. Now, the senior citizen housing is specifically for residents who are 62 years or older, and they are falling within the income guideline for that housing. We partner with the federal government, the Federal Housing Urban and Development Agency. We partner with New York State and New York City to produce affordable senior housing. And what another amenity that comes with this senior housing is that we usually have case managers that will assist senior resident with any of their needs should they need them. It's totally independent housing, but we have staff available to help them with social services. And then usually our senior housing has 24-hour security guards. So we really care for our seniors to make sure that they're well taken care of.
What I had asked you, Dr. Roberson, before I let you go and give the website, which is so important because I want people to know where they can go to take advantage of what you offer. I would think, first of all, how are you funded? And I would think if you talk to me about people who've only rented, then they probably need guidance in walking them through the process.
Yes.
So that's something you do too.
Yes, of course. First of all, for a house of worship to be a part of HCCI, it only costs them $250 a year. through that, they get all kinds of services, approximately 40 different services from, really, we're not just about housing, it's about taking care of individuals.
Yeah, holistic.
So, yes.
As
so when we
Mr.
start
Punter
talking
said.
about youth aging out of foster care, when we talk about our senior programs, when we talk about back to school projects and things like that, computer programs and things, it builds up the whole person holistically. I think that you also asked about money a year for $250. That's an easy buy-in as far as I'm concerned, but also because of government funding and things of that nature, it helps us be able to do what we do. But also, thanks to Dr. Punter, he is strategic about what he does. As the board chair, the board will co-sign on things that he brings to the table, or we'll say, no, we're not ready to do that. But because I've seen him in action when we've been asked to go to Selma, Alabama, to when they had a tornado hit there back in January 23. So he and I were there in April, and they had over 30,000, they had a housing shortage of over 30,000, and they wanted us to come in and partner with them, show them how to do affordable housing. Dr. Punter said, no, not now, because there's some things they need to get in place first before we step in. But they thought so much of us that they presented HCCI with the key to the city.
Well, I want to give folks your website, hcci.org. And on the website, you can find out all the information, the things we've talked about today, but most importantly, how anyone interested in taking advantage of what you guys offer. They can find that information on the site, right?
Yes,
hcci.org.
Yes.
Thank you both for sitting down with us. I love because it's always good when we're giving good news.
Yes.
And this is definitely a positive. The work you've been doing for 3 decades is important. Thank you both very much.
Thank you for having us.
We'll be right back. A new youth-run novelty store in Harlem is a real-life classroom where young people are racking up entrepreneurial skills and so much more. It's called the Tag Swag. Take a look.
We just opened up our first ever youth retail store, and we're selling products that are going to be given back to the community.
I think my favorite thing about working at the Tag Swag store has got to be the faces on our young people and on our customers when they see the products that the young people are making.
You guys know how there's like a lot of violence in New York. We help keep kids away from the violence, away from the gangs, and away from homelessness and any other issue that they might have.
You definitely have to come to the store. It's colorful, has really good designs, and not only that, it's run by and operated, and it's giving youth a chance. So yeah, come check us out.
Joining us this afternoon are the leaders of the TAG Initiative and the co-founders of the Community Initiatives of New York, Al and Janet Cohen. Nice to see you guys again.
It's so good to see you.
You don't let grass grow under your feet, do you?
No.
You guys have to be moving that needle.
Yes.
And so the TAG, first of all, tell us about the work that the Community Initiatives of New York does, because that's kind of where this all started, right? I'll let you. You're gonna let the lady lead first.
So the Community Initiative of New York, a 501c3 nonprofit, and we started a little over 5 years ago during the height of COVID, just realizing, hey, our young people were at the bodegas and they were arguing and hearing their conversations. We need to create a space for them to be able to get their thoughts out. And what started with 2 brothers in Central Harlem turned into over 300 young people coming on a weekly night just for conversation, no recreation. We understood and realized that we had to get to their minds to understand what we can do for them. And then that's transferred over to us being in 27 schools, teaching social emotional learning, doing training for the NYPD, the only community-based organization to do that, and really being like a bridge builder.
Doing professional development for principals.
Could you forget that? And so what we've realized is that our young people, we've got the pulse of them. We're listening to them, and there's nothing out there of what they're seeking. So we did not leave it to chance. We said, oh no, we have to create that which they're asking for, more opportunities. And so hence the Tag Swag store.
Yeah, so you, Mr. Cohen,
Yeah.
talk to me about Tag Swag. Where did the idea for this retail operation come from?
Well, it really became, a vision of ours because, first of all, TAG stands for Teaching a Generation. And we could teach a generation in so many areas, in so many diverse ways. And I thought that if we could brand just that statement and that motto alone, because when we created TAG, I thought about the tag that we wear in our clothes. And in our clothes, there's descriptions on how to take care of the garment. The size you wear, how to take care of it, what is it made out of, so forth and so on, and where it comes from. So I looked at how we were tagging our generation of young people, suicidal, violent, so forth and so on. I said I wanted to change that narrative. So I said, well, we're going to come up with a tag that's going to be inspirational, empowerment, motivating, so forth and so on. So I said, if we can do it and see it that way, then the world needs to see it that way. And that's how we came up with the TAG swag and the TAG logo.
What I love about this is that the kids that we talk to are so enthusiastic about it. So how does the store work? The students you work with, they work in the store, right?
Oh yes, it's 100% youth ran and operated. So the adults are in there, if we're in there, is just to offer the guidance, right? If they're a little flustered, is to kind of be able to teach them hands-on. It's okay, take your time, let's add this up together. What does this equal out to? Where could we do a little bit better? And so the beautiful part, and one of the things I was talking to my husband about was we've been open fully for just about a week, and seeing the growth in our general manager, Freddie, has been remarkable. It's been a week, and his confidence as a leader, as
all-time high.
And I said, that's only a week, imagine a month. And all of the other young people and the staff is the same way. And so.
And then just the buy-in from the community, because once the community heard about it, not only did they say this is a nice staple for the community, but the fact that this is a youth organization and ran by the youth, they are just so overwhelmed, and we just got so many testimonies, out of that. And that's one of the things we've done, like with our youth. These are our ambassadors. These are people that's been with us from day one, that they're watching the growth of not only themselves, but the organization. When we say we're going to do something, we're going to do it because we invest in these young people.
So what are some of the products and the money that you generate from the store, what happens with that?
Well, the money goes into what we call stipend, and of course it goes to pay for the youth salary, and then it goes for the inventory, where now we can restock the store with the garments that we sell, like sweatshirts, hoodies, just things that adults and youth are wearing.
Coffee mugs. I love your coffee mugs.
Plates. We just tagging anything we can with the brand
books,
and with the logo.
Plates, keychains.
I see. It's all,
it's everything.
All up for grabs.
We even have positive statements because it's teaching a generation on T-shirts. Real what you call it, aspiring statements on T-shirts as well.
One other thing I'd like to add on that is the ability that we're now creating for our young people to design their own ideas and merch. We've got a lot of creative young people that have really good ideas. Now let's see it in a brick and mortar. Let's see what it looks like. If you were to launch it, how much work you would have to do on the marketing, on the sales, right? And then the design of it. So it's been beautiful to see, and we're really excited to open that up to other young people within the community.
And I should mention where the store is. We're talking about it, 2372 Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard, between 138 and 139,
right by Stravers Row.
Okay, which is sort of apropos.
That's
what you're trying to teach the
Yes.
kids to do. Now, but even before, the tag swag, retail operations, you guys did something that is very important. You've got these youth-led panel discussions that you've had with community leaders. Why was that an important component of your program?
Well, because oftentimes we hear adults talking about youth and what they feel youth needs and, planning, even getting money and grants for young people. But we have no young people sitting at the table. And one of the things that our program did and is doing, because we're about leadership and power, they're not our future, they're our present, being prepared for the future. So our young people go to all their precinct council meetings, they go to all their community board meetings, and then we bring the leadership to the youth, where we have these forums at Columbia University, the Schomburg, where we have all the top leaders or politicians, and we set it up for the youth. It's not adult driven, The youth are the moderators, and they're asking important questions. How can your role as a city leader or government leader affect me as a youth in the city? And then how we as the youth can help you fulfill your role in your job. So we bring that relationship together where, and otherwise, you'll be talking about the youth, and the youth is never in the room to talk or to express themselves. So we give the youth the voice.
Yeah. And so good, Janet, I'm going to give you this last question. In a perfect world, 10, 15 years from now, some of the young people in the program, what would you hope to see from them?
Oh my
hopefully
gosh.
benefiting from what you guys have helped them accomplish.
10, 15 years from now, I would see them being leaders in their own communities, doing the very same thing that Rev and I have been doing for them, and they're paying it forward. And they're already doing it, but they're going to be doing it on a much greater scale. And so some of them already are, and we're proud of them for it.
So I'm going to send folks to tciony.org.
Yes.
Again, the full name of your program is the Community Initiatives of New York, and the Tag Swag Retail
come
Outlet.
visit us.
2372 Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard between 138 and 139.
I promise it is an experience that you will never forget. You have to come see these young people.
How can you not come? You guys are so enthusiastic about it. Thank you both
Thank
for
you for
sharing that
having
with
us.
us. And I suspect that we'll be talking with you both again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Because we got something else coming up.
Oh,
now.
I
Just around
pretty
the
much
corner.
knew that. I suspected it.
I'm excited about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. It has been proven that arts education encourages students' critical thinking and enhances creativity. The Support for Arts Instruction initiative provides access to cultural institutions, meaningful arts instruction, and once-in-a-lifetime performances, engaging students in a way other academic subjects cannot. Here to tell us more about how this investment transforms young lives is Executive Director of the New York City Public Schools of the Arts Hub, Paul Thompson. So nice to meet you.
So good to meet you.
That was a long title.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
explain to me what that is.
So the Arts Office is the office responsible for ensuring the rigor and fidelity of the arts instruction in all of New York City public schools to our almost 1 million students in our care. We also oversee and manage the professional development to almost 4,000 licensed arts teachers that are teaching in our schools.
You know, I think I've been talking about this now for some years about the, how arts is not as important a part of our schools as they used to be. And thankfully, folks like you have tried to make sure that the arts continues to be an important part of our children's education. Talk to people about why that's so important. I mean, I think we had this for a while. We got to get on the map and we got to make sure. And it's like, but that's not the only part of the being. The arts feeds something really important.
Oh, no, absolutely. And your perspective on it is right on. And when I just reflect on my own experience, so I'm a kid who grew up in the Bronx, 70s, 80s. I was an undiagnosed dyslexic. And so school was not a very safe place for me. It's not a place that I experienced success. But the arts saved my life. I started hearing early hip hop, hanging out with older brothers in the park. I would travel on the train and I would see graffiti, and I would literally see these train stations turn into like cathedrals of the arts, like stained glass. And so that is really my first arts experience. And I spent, the greater part of my early K through 12, the high school experience trying to understand how to be a graffiti artist. And it's where I learned rigor. It's where I learned how you envision something that you want to express that's inside you, and you plan it out, and then you live it through execution, and then it has a life that really becomes part of the public square, the larger conversation we are having.
And you started a music school.
So I was very fortunate in that I was able to start a high school for the arts. And the school was really premised to support students that were like me, that weren't necessarily successful in a traditional school dynamic. So we were unscreened, no audition. We just wanted kids who understood they had a voice that they wanted to express, and we wanted to be a safe home for them to be able to express their voices.
Yeah, and you got them engaged and educated by tapping into that thing that I guess maybe was their passion, whatever that might happen to be.
Completely. I mean, learning anything is puts you in a vulnerable space. And to be vulnerable, you have to feel safe. And in a space where you can exercise your voice, you're in a safe space then. And we call that community.
Yeah.
And if you are in a community where you feel safe, it becomes a lot easier to raise your hand and kind of deal with the reality, certainly like that I was dealing with, where you're 15 or 16 and you have to say, like, I actually have struggle reading. So now how can we really work on that in a way that will benefit me? Because there's no workaround. You got to, you want to learn how to read, you read.
But once I get to you, I can help you figure those things out.
Creating the safe space. And the arts really do that.
Yeah. So talk to me about how the Public Arts Office Art Hub works to make sure that the students, public school students, have that exposure.
So the Arts Office is an incredible space. It's about 30 individuals that work throughout the city to ensure that all students have equitable access to the arts. And so I'm fortunate. I've been in this position about 3 years now. And one of the things that we've tried to do is really elevate the position and the posture of the office. We felt as though being able to do that would ensure that we had really a better shot at supporting all of our students and our teachers. And so one of the things that we did initially was build the first brick and mortar office for the Arts Office, and it's in downtown Brooklyn. It's called the Arts Hub. It has a black box studio, sprung dance floor studios, and a music recording studio. And one of the things that we do in that space now that we have a home is we incubate innovative ideas for professional development or student programming, and then those ideas find their way out into the field.
Okay, well, and that was my next question.
Yeah.
Are there some specific programs that you can talk to us about that are benefiting students in the schools? I know there's no focus on one discipline. We're talking about arts, whether that means dance or theater or some other creative art. Are we not?
Yes. So New York State recognizes 4 art forms with licenses. So there's teachers with either visual arts licenses, dance licenses, music license, or theater licenses. So those are the main arts that we support throughout the city, though there is a digital media that we are hoping is on the horizon, because obviously the digital media is where most arts are happening now. So I'll talk about 2 programs. One is we developed a Principal Fellows program that we run out of the Arts Hub. And the reason why we wanted to focus on principals early in my administration in the office is because after having been one for 18 years, I understood that while the arts teachers are in the classrooms with the students, if they don't have principals
They're supportive
who value what it is that the arts do and what those teachers are doing, those teachers are going to sometimes, be hitting their head against the wall trying to gain some traction in their buildings. So by bringing in principals and giving them experiences as fellows that are based in the arts. So Principal Fellows is the first program. The second program is we've created studio artists. So we like to think, let the arts do the magic that it does. We don't need to get in the way of it. And so our first studio artist was Michelle Indegocello.
Oh, okay.
So we would have Michelle come and perform at the Arts Hub in a very small setting. She was working on her Grammy winning record about James Baldwin. And she would workshop some of those pieces and how she was going to tour it for our principals. And when I tell you, those principals had never been to a professional development session in their lives like that.
Yeah.
And when they walked out of the Arts Hub after having that experience, we bonded. in ways where when we walked into their schools to help support them, to think about how could they put the arts in the core of their school's instructional mission, we weren't just part of a faceless bureaucracy. We were people who sat around and communed together over incredible art that spoke to the times we live in and our spirit. And it's through those kinds of experiences where we now have a principal who's a reliable partner, who values the arts, who values the teachers teaching art in their building to ensure that students have access to expressing their voice and making their voice the meaning of their experience in school.
And in fact, what I think, studies have shown, and I'm sure you've seen this, it becomes not just about the arts, it helps them with all of their academic pursuits.
Absolutely. I mean, the kinds of cultural literacies that you're able to develop, right? So not only are you able to honor your own culture, you're able to gain windows into other cultures and not only gain deeper empathy, but like learn new words, learn new ways of understanding how to do things, really broaden your horizon. I mean, when you get to engage your voice in the arts, you actually are engaging in a time-honored tradition of being a world citizen.
Yeah. Do principals have to, did schools have to opt into the programming, or how does that work?
So all schools are responsible by state mandate to have arts in their instructional missions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it is, so there are arts in all of our schools by state mandate. To become a principal fellow, we work within our office in sort of like analyzing trends. We work with superintendents. Those are the direct supervisors of principals because they are our partners also in this work. And so each year, since the program's, we're in our 5th cohort this year, and we kick off in October. And each cohort has about 70 principals in it. And so there's a mechanism that we use within our office that we select 70 folks. And I'm happy to say that through the different cohorts, we have over 100 principals that we've worked with who are engaging the arts in new and interesting ways in their schools.
Yeah, I mean, the hope is that it makes, learning fun for everybody, and especially the principals, because you're getting to see your students absorb this knowledge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we believe that the arts are not only for the students, they are also here to inspire the adults.
Yeah. Schools.nyc.gov, and we can find out more about this particular program at that.
Absolutely. Yep.
Thank you so much for sitting down with us. It's you got to put a little bit of excitement back in the learning, and I certainly think this does this. And God, you're in New York City. It means you're exposed to everything.
Arts capital of the world.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And we'll be right back. Thank you for joining us on Here and Now. If you missed any portion of today's show, you can watch at abc7ny.com/here and now, or listen to our podcast wherever you subscribe. If you'd like to comment or share your story, email us at hereandnow@wabc.com or follow us on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Sandra Bookman. Enjoy the rest of your day.